guys, how's it going? We are going to plant some more stuff out in the south garden today. I actually just looked at our forecast and we have 10 days well above freezing ahead of us, which is awesome. I'm going to sneak as much planting as I can in because it's beautiful. A little bit breezy today, but kind of a perfect day to plant this. So this is a Gingko. Cannot wait to see it fully colored up for fall, but it's quite flexible. So it's kind of a good day. Breezy day is a good day to plant a tree because then you know exactly which direction to stake it up. So we will be doing that. I also have these 3 gorgeous fall cypress. They're called Haywire, which is a perfect name for them because, I mean, look at this. Like all this wild kind of needle-like feathery growth. I think they're so unique looking. Now these are babies though. We'll have to put a picture of the mature version of this on the screen because they grow 12 to 18 feet tall and wide, which is significant. I mean, that's a significant hedge, barrier, or a significant specimen, which is what these are going to be. These are going to be planted kind of as standalones. I'm not going to be planting them as a hedge. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to do here. They are a zone 5 through 7 and they want kind of a full part to full sun situation. So I don't know a tremendous amount about these because they are so new. It's just going to have to be like, see how they do here in our high pH. We will be using though some probably soil acidifier and biotone starter fertilizer with these today. I'm out of land and sea compost for the moment. I would use that if I had it on hand. The other plant we have here is the Gingko, like I just said. This one is called Skinny Fit. So ginkgos are wonderful. We don't have any in our yard and I don't really know why, other than the fact that the traditional ginkgos get quite large, like pretty big. This one grows 10 feet tall, 15 inches wide. So if you want a ginkgo for a container, because it's a zone 3 through 10, this is a great one because you can winter it over in quite a few growing zones. It's safe to winter this one over in containers. And it's such a narrow tree that you can really squeeze it in anywhere. Small landscapes out in the south garden, it'll be perfect because it'll just be this beautiful little column out there. The fall color on ginkgos, I don't know that you can really compare it to anything else. It's just like a ginkgo yellow. It's the most outstanding, striking yellow. And then of course they've got these beautiful fan-shaped leaves, which is unlike anything else. I just love that. I have had this one in its container since last spring or last summer sometime. Anyway, it was last year. So it's going to be very happy, I think, with us to finally be in the ground. The other thing good about ginkgos is that they are incredibly tolerant of tons of different soil pH, soil types. They can do urban conditions. In fact, our city has started to plant ginkgos in parking lots because they can take all that radiant heat. They do need consistent water in the beginning, like most everything else. After that, after they're established, they're quite drought tolerant. So that's really nice. Anyway, I think we should run out to the south garden and get these planted. Okay, now these were just shipped to us, so I'm going to take the wrapping off the can here. They shipped beautifully though. Came from Spring Meadow Nursery in Grand Haven, Michigan, which is the home of Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. I think we found our first location right over here. I'm going to have to step it off because we've got totem pole grasses right here, which I can't remember how wide they get. Probably not much wider than that. So it's 12 to 18 feet. I at least want to go 6 feet away. So probably right in there. It can fill in this space. I think that'll be really pretty. This is the new power planter with the, what's that called?
The heavy duty tip. Heavy
duty tip, I can never remember. Anyway, that makes digging a dream out here. If digging can be a dream, the auger makes it so. Okay, no water lines, we're good. You know what, I forgot to bring my soil acidifier out, so I will probably just come back through later and apply some of that around the base here of the shrub and water it in. Oh my, that's got a pretty extensive root system there, so I'm gonna fluff that up a bit. Okay, should be good. It's a little deep. Yeah, that's really pretty. It'll get bigger. Just give it a minute or 3 years. Start putting on some sides. I actually don't know how fast these grow. I should look up and see. We'll put it on the screen if I can figure out what the growth rate is per year. I want to say, like, if I was gonna guess, like 12, maybe a little bit more than that inches per year. Maybe I'm really wrong. I could be really wrong. I'm usually really wrong. Okay, so the water from this one will actually run from this pipe right here. That's just a 3/4 inch poly tube right there that we have running around the perimeter. So we'll tap into it with 1/4 inch poly, run over to the shrub, and then run some 1/4 inch poly that has emitter holes around the base of the shrub. That's how we've been watering everything out here. Everything's doing really well so far. I think I want the next one to go over on that side. You know, as I've been looking at these beds, as we're losing leaves on things, I'm really realizing how important it's going to be to plant really heavy on evergreens out here for it to be really interesting all year round. I really need to, even like small ones, like the little tater tot arb, having things like that tucked here and there really help to make a space look beautiful in the wintertime. So this one I'm thinking can go right about in here. Now this right behind it is a katsura tree, which eventually, I've never planted a katsura, so I don't know how fast they grow, but it's a significantly big tree. So we'll see what these do, but I think that this is gonna be a good, maybe a little bit away, a good placement for this one. Okay, let me grab the auger. I would be happy if this just grew in a big round ball. I think that'd be really pretty. Oh my, I actually brought my gloves out with me. No matter how often I actually bring my gloves, I hardly ever wear them. Good intentions. Two down. I'm trying to decide where to plant this ginkgo. Maybe over here? That might look nice to have the ginkgo with the crabapple and the blue spruce. So let's back up, try it over there. I love that it doesn't get super big. That way you can kind of put it wherever you want. As long as it's full sun. Okay. So either somewhere in here or somewhere, maybe right over here. So we've got this beautiful Serbian spruce that's got kind of a blue-green cast. We've got a gin-fizz juniper, which is green, black-lace elderberry, which is kind of that black plummy color, and I'm thinking maybe like to kind of bridge the gap here. I think once this is colored up, it's bright yellow, the contrast will be beautiful. Now, black-lace elderberries get huge in our area. I fully anticipate it getting all the way over here, but since this is just a 15-inch wide tree, I think it should work perfect. Limelight prime's right in here. And then I can fill in with some other things that maybe are kind of mid-height, so maybe like 6 to 8 feet. So we'll have our limelight primes and then maybe some smaller lilacs or something in here, and this kind of popping up from behind. I think it'd be really pretty. I don't think there are any water lines here. Nope, we're getting lucky today. That root ball is wet. Look at that. I don't smell it though, so that's good. It hasn't started rotting or anything. My word. There's more wood chips being delivered. Yay! We need like 1 to 2 more loads to finish up. asked him because I was looking at these leaves and I thought it might be some kind of maple, and he did say there's maple in here, sensation box elder, which is it's an acer, it's in the maple family. There's a couple limbs of sycamore trees, which he hates. He does not like sycamore trees at all. And I can't remember what else, but anyway, so it's a mixture, really nice mixture of really carbon and nitrogen. We've got greens and browns in here. And we've really just primarily been using it on this corner. And I think we just need this load and one more load to kind of completely cover the surface. And the reason why we went with this is because it was the free option this year. Whenever they take down something that's not diseased, they'll come and drop off the chips here if they happen to be doing the job in town, because they work the whole valley. And it's been wonderful because it has kept the dust down. It helps suppress weeds. I'm not super worried. You know, you hear a lot of people talk about whether or not to use fresh wood chips as a mulch, because as they break down, they do tend to want to steal nitrogen from the top layer of soil in order to complete their composting process, because it's so carbon rich. I'm not super worried about that because we make it a pretty normal habit of fertilizing our plants. So long as you're doing that, I think you're probably okay. Plus, you're only really dealing with the surface level transaction. You know, the nitrogen carbon kind of thing, it's only really happening in the top. It's not reaching way down in and wrecking the soil chemistry, from what I've experienced anyway. So I feel like they've been a great option for us this year. So I was very excited to see them pull up. They just show up whenever they happen to have a load, and we didn't know if we were going to get any more this year. So hooray, we've got some work to do. So the wind typically travels in this direction, so I kind of want to plant it with its lean, maybe natural, well, no. Like that. See, I have the root ball kind of tipped a little bit. That's totally fine. And we will stake it this direction here. Let's get this all worked in. We have a pretty intense hard pan out here, but I noticed, like, once you start irrigating it, once it gets a little bit of moisture, it's very easy to work in, and very few rocks. We are lucky in that way for sure. So you can see the original root ball right here. We don't cover, I mean, we barely cover up the root ball with just a fine layer of soil, but we never bury up the trunk like that. Now let me grab my stake. That looks super pretty. Okay, I've got a strap right here. I've got some tree rope, my stake, and then I've got a hammer hammered in, and then something to cut my twine with. Okay, so I'm gonna put my strap on the tree first. Kind of like that. And then we run the tree rope through. Now we don't stake for very long. We just stake until they're established enough to not need it anymore. So this will just need to harden a bit, because you can see how young and flexible that is. As soon as it strengthens up, we'll take this off. Or if we do check a few times a year, anything that's staked, we go check the straps and make sure it's not cutting into the branch or the trunk in any way. If we're having any issues like that, we'll move it or take the strap off. Erin, you're gonna probably have to give me an eyeball and tell me about where you think the stake needs to go. It needs to be in this vicinity here, because that's where the wind comes from. Oh, that went in really easy. All right, Erin, how's that?
Yep.
Okay, so it may not look completely straight right now, but because the wind goes this way, I wanted to give it a little bit of flex this direction. So it doesn't quite, it's not so tight on the trunk, if that makes sense. So the wind will eventually get this one pushed completely the way we want it to be, but it's got a little support now, so that makes me feel good. I'm gonna hold off on this third one. I think what I'm gonna do with it is give it to a friend or my parents to have them plant it in their garden, because it's a really good learning tool for me, especially if I'm kind of unfamiliar with the plant and I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, to have it planted in multiple areas, even within our own valley. It's amazing how different the soil can be. My parents' garden's super rocky. They have an area where they can get macrophylla hydrangeas to turn blue, which is unheard of in most of our area. So it's a good learning tool to see how they do in my garden, see how they do in somebody else's. So that's what's going to happen with this one, but I'm really happy with the 3 plants we got in today. I think they all ended up over here, didn't they? So we've got one there, there, and there. But I wanted to talk to you about this big area over here and what we have planned for it. I just love how everything's filling in. Everything's so small, but I can see the potential. We're gonna get there. So this is the area where we had the high tunnels. 2 high tunnels, and then we had other plants around it. Of course, there's a couple of implements that we will move. This is where our well is for the new property out here. So this is how we irrigate this whole new section that we've been developing this year. What we're gonna do, Chad's gonna come in, he's going to scrape all the gravel back so that we have it pretty much, it'll be back to this hose bib right here, and it will come out roughly, sorry, Aaron's having to run, sorry, to about here. We may have it curved so that we can, have it be very natural for driving, but this whole area here will then become more flower bed area like it is up here. We're gonna do big evergreen trees back in here, big deciduous trees, and a bunch of beautiful shrubs and things. I'm very excited for it. I think it's gonna be a really fun use of this space. I had initially thought, like, is there some kind of themed garden I can do, or just something fun and different? But I think I can incorporate all kinds of different fun things in here. I thought of doing a perennial cut flower garden, like with rows of roses and peonies and things like that, but I can go ahead and work those into these flower beds, use them for cutting, but also have them be part of the garden out here. So anyway, that's the plan for this area. I don't know if that's gonna happen this fall. I'm guessing it is. Chad's also gonna come up and get the big pile of dirt and stuff that's in the corner, and we'll just kind of start buttoning up a little bit more of this space, but I'm really happy with it. Super happy with the plants today. Now I need to go water stuff because I know it's drying out because of all this wind. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.